This is lesson 4. We're going to be working on decomposing fractions even smaller in order to take those sums to equal another fraction. Okay, so you'll need this page, but right now I want you just to set it to the side because I'm going to show you something and you don't need to write anything yet. All right, so look at this word. This is equivalent. Say equivalent. What word do you sort of hear in there or see the beginning of? Equal. Equivalent means equal. So what is equal to something else? Okay, so 1 plus 1 is equivalent to 2 plus 0. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. Those are equivalent. So we're going to work on equivalent fractions. In Zearn, I don't think they're going to use the word equivalent quite yet. They're going to show you some things and we're going to practice with them before they ever tell you that word. But I want you to hear that word and I want you to know it because that's really what we're working on. All right? So I'm going to show you this. Don't draw it yet. I'll let you draw one in a bit. How many do I have here? I have 3. Is that my numerator or denominator? It is my denominator. So right here, not very good at drawing that little bracket. What fraction do I have right here? Even though I haven't shaded it, it doesn't really matter. The fact is it's right here. So what do I have? 1 out of how many? 3. So I have, ooh, that's an ugly 3. I have 1/3 right there. Okay, it's still kind of ugly, isn't it? All right. Now, what I want to show you is that we can decompose this down further. So what if I took each one of these boxes and cut them in half? I should have used a straight edge. They'd be a lot neater. Now, how many pieces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have 6. What's my denominator now? 6. How many is this right here? 1 out of 6. How many 1/6 does it take to equal what I had with 1/3? It takes 2 of them. Okay, so we made an equivalent fraction. I can say 1/3 equals, what do I have to add together? 1/6 plus 1/6, which also equals, what does 1/6 plus 1/6 equal? Denominator stays the same because my blocks don't change. How they're divided up doesn't change, but I have 2 of them. That equals 2/6. So 1/3 equals 2/6. They're the exact same. They're equivalent. All right? So what I want you to start seeing is just like what you did yesterday and in Zearn lessons 1 through 3 is that there's different ways to write this. I can say 1/3 equals 1/6 plus 1/6. 1/3 equals 2/6. Pause for about 30 seconds and tell your partner or your neighbor how else I could write this rather than 1/6 plus 1/6. Pause the video, say it, and then push play. I have 2 1/6. What do? 2 times 1/6. It almost looks like a money sign, huh? It doesn't erase very well. But I could write this any way. All right? So now I want you to grab your paper. Look at the very bottom part. There is some blank room down here. This is where I want you to draw. I'm going to draw it on this board so it's large enough for you to see. You're going to draw it on that paper right there, okay? We're going to practice this. So I want you to draw, again, we're going to take thirds, but I want it to be pretty large. Now, yours obviously cannot be that large, but what I mean is use up a lot of the room on the bottom here, okay? And then split it into thirds. Okay? One of these boxes, what fraction is that? 1 out of 3. Okay, now follow the directions. We're going to split them into 6, just like I just did. So, cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half. Okay, so now we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many 6 equal the 1/3? 1 6 plus 1 6, there's 2 6 equal 1/3. Now we're going to cut all of those boxes in half one more time. So if I had 6 in each box, each 6 is now cut in 2. I'm going to have twice as many. How many boxes am I going to have? 12. Now look at 1/3 right there. Okay, 1/3, that was how many 6? 2 6, write that next to it, equals, 1/3 equals 2 6. And these are 12s. How many did that equal? 1, 2, 3, 4. That equaled 4, what? 12ths. 4 12ths. Very good. What I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you to write an equation for this as many ways as you can think of. Okay, so remember, we can use repeated addition. We can use, what else? Multiplication. We can use addition, but you can break it up differently. I don't have to say 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. What else can you do? So pause the video and then check my answers. Okay, let's look at a few of my answers. I used 1/3. You may have used 2 6. Okay, I don't have enough room to write everything, so let's just talk about some of them. 1/3 can equal 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12, which equals how many 12s? 4 12s. 1/3 can equal 2 12s plus 2 12s, which equals 4 12s. 1/3 can equal 4 times 1 12, just like I had right here. I had 4 of them. Okay? I shouldn't have drawn like that, especially because I want to show you something else that I could have done. I could have, I have to rewrite all of it. I could have used parentheses. I could have said, hey, add these together, that equals 2 12ths. Add these 2 12ths together, that equals 2 12ths. Okay, there are lots of ways that you could have written it. So look real quick at the other people that are around you and see how else they wrote it. I did not write all of them. There's just different ways we can write them. Okay, so I want you to notice that. I could do, I want to show you this one. I could have changed it to 2 6, right? Because that also equals how many 12s? 4 12s. How many thirds? 1/3. They all equal the same thing, okay? I could have written it to show you something like this. Oops. Sorry. I didn't realize you couldn't see it. All right. I could say 2 6 equals 2 times 1 12. What is that? 2 12s. Plus 2 times 1 12, still the same thing, 2 12s, which equals 4 12s. There's all different ways we could have written it. All right, so we're going to work on the rest of that problem set. We're going to go through a few of them together, and then you're going to do the rest on your own, and you're going to do Zern lesson 4 on your own. All right, you are practicing what fractions equal another fraction. Okay, so the way we're doing it is with drawing. So right now, this is just getting us started. In another couple of lessons, I'm going to show you a different way, which will be faster than drawing all the time, but the drawing should be able to help us see what's going on. All right. Now, part of the problem is I don't have my clipboard, so we're going to have to hopefully make this work. All right, so take a look at what they have. It says the total length of each diagram represents 1. So the whole diagram no matter how many they have there, that equals 1. So right here, count how many they have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they're in fourth. All right. But they are showing you, hey, I could have put these two together and that could be one block, and here's another block, 2 blocks. So I could take it out of 2. Okay, so what they have is these big black lines that shows you the bigger section. Remember yesterday I told you that the smaller the number, the bigger the section. Okay, so you see how, like on the video, you can almost not see that dotted line. If I take out that dotted line, look how large that section is, right? So there's 1, 2, and they have 1 out of 2 shaded. And then they put that dotted line in, like we did. We went back in and drew them in half. And they're showing you, hey, those are 1 out of 4 now. So 1/4 plus 1/4 equals what? 2/4, which is also the same as 1/2. 1/2 and 2/4 are, what was that E word? Equivalent. Okay. So what it's telling you to do, it says decompose the shaded unit fraction. Okay, so break it down, just the shaded part, as the sum of smaller unit fractions in at least 2 different ways. The first one has been done for you. All right. So, well, sort of it's been done for you. They only showed it to you in one way. Okay, so 1/4 equal, or sorry, 1/2 or 1 out of 2 equals 1/4 plus 1/4. That one I can't really add any other way, but what could I do? Multiply. I don't have to do repeated addition. I go ahead and try and write that down while I'm writing it. 1/2 equals, how many 1/4 did I have? 2. So I can do 2 times 1/4. All right. I'm gonna wipe this off. It likes to get so blurry. All right. So this one, they're showing you 1/2 again. So they took the same thing. Now they took where they cut it into 4, and they cut even the 4s in half. So they doubled it. Now there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8. So 1/2 still equals 2 4s. But how many 8ths does it equal? 1, 2, 3, 4. It equals 4 8ths. Write that on there. Okay? Find another way to write it down. Do that while I'm writing mine. Okay? Go very quickly. 1/2 equals what? Write it how you want to write it. Okay, let's see. I wrote 1/2 equals 3/8 plus 1/8, which equals 4/8. Did you write it that way for addition, or did you do 2/8 plus 2/8? Or maybe 1/8 plus 2/8 plus 1/8? Right? Anything like that. Now we add this extra equals 4/8, but if you didn't, it's still correct. 1/2 equals 3/8 plus 1/8. And then I also made it into a multiplication problem. 1/2 equals 4 times 1/8. I need 4 of them. All right, so let's try. I'm going to leave letter B. You're going to do that one on your own. Let's try letter C. Okay, so, oh, look at what I did. I made you do more work. It says decompose it in at least 2 ways. That's how they did it. They did it 1 way, 2 ways, which is fine that we did extra. We just got some extra practice. So this is 1 way. This is another way. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just giving us some other practice. But it's okay. Let's do letter C. We'll do letter C together, and then you'll do letter D on your own. Okay? So letter C. How could we, first of all, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So this is what fraction? 1 out of 4. Good. How can we break that down? Cut it in half. So cut each of those, or draw half of each of those. So now I have 2 times as many. So before I had 4, now I have 8. Okay, so 1/4 equals how many eighths? 2 eighths. Okay, how can I write that? 1/4 equals, give me the addition. 1/8 plus 1/8, which equals 2 eighths. Or give me the multiplication. 1/4 equals 2 times 1/8. Good. Let's break this one down. What else can we do? We just did in half and made them eighths. So do that again. Let's break it in half again. So now you have some real small boxes. Instead of eighths, we just doubled them again. Now they are 16ths. If you don't believe me, write it down. Okay, or count it, excuse me. Write it down right here though. Originally we still had the same as this. We had 1/4. Well, we also know 1/4 equals 2 eighths. So I'm just going to put a comma there. It equals both of these numbers. Now we broke it down into what? What's our denominator? 16. How many 1/16ths are there that equals 1/4 or 2 eighths? Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 16ths. Okay, let's write that. Write an addition sentence that does not use 1/16 plus 1/16 plus 1/16 plus 1/16. Okay, so we know you could write it as 1/4 or 2 eighths equals a different addition sentence. Okay, so you write it and then look at mine. Ours may be different because there's a few ways to write it. You may have written 2/16 plus 2/16, or you may have written 3/16 plus 1/16. I wrote 1/16 plus 2/16 plus 1/16. That equals what? 1/4, which also equals 4/16, which also equals 2 eighths. All right, so letter B and D are yours to do. We're going to go onto the back and just do a couple little things there, and then you're going to go on to do it on your own. All right, you're going to do both sides on your own. All right, so I skipped a page in between, so we kind of missed these directions. So letter C and D, what you're to do is to draw that to show that it equals. Okay, so we want to show that 3/4 equals 6 eighths. So first thing I'm going to do is draw that first fraction. So draw yourself a tape diagram. How many sections do I need? Look at the denominator, 4. For 4, I just go right in half, half again on each side. Now there's 4 of them. How many do I need to have? 3/4. So I'm going to write 3/4 up here. Now I can shade them in. The reason I wouldn't do that is because you know that we're going to have to go back through and draw more lines in there, and then it gets hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of draw it like this. I don't like drawing that bracket because I messed that up. So draw a bracket or draw lines there. 1, 2, 3. Ah, the blurry monster has come again. All of a sudden you can't see it. All right. So 3 of these are 3/4. Now, if I want to have 8 instead, I need to double this number. Isn't it weird that to double it, I have to cut it in half? So cut each in half. Now, every one box has 2. Now there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, how many eighths are there for my 3/4? Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I count right? I'm so sorry. I'm backwards here. I have to redraw this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right here. Okay, all 3 of these, and then I cut them in half. So there's I'm going to just draw it in here because I have mine backwards. I'm trying to watch it on the video while I'm writing, and that does not work so well. And I don't know what I did on that first one. Or maybe the blurry monster are my blurry eyes. Maybe I should be wearing my glasses, do you think? Maybe that would help me. Okay, how many 1/8 do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6/8 right there. And what does that equal? My original, which was 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. That equals 3/4. Okay, so on letter D, you're going to do the same thing. Make a new 3/4, or you could still use your same one as long as you didn't write 1/8 in each of them. Okay, you're going to make a box, a tape diagram with 4 boxes, and then you're going to split them into thirds is what you're going to need. So maybe just make a new one to be sure. But each of your 4, like your 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, split into 3s. Okay, and then check it out. That should give you 12 boxes, and I want you to show how that is equivalent. All right, so now let's look at 4, 5, and 6. Okay, all you're doing is using the tape diagram to show, just like you did up here, show that the 2 fractions are equivalent, and then add a number sentence. All right, so it's the exact same thing. So let's try one that we haven't done. Let's do number 5. Okay, so it says show that 2/3 is equivalent to 6/9. So watch me draw it first, and then I'll give you just a second to draw it. Okay, do it like this. Longer, but leave room here to write your number sentence. So draw that. Okay, and then we're going to split it into thirds. All right, how many thirds do I need to show? 2/3. So I'm going to write 2/3. And I'm just going to draw a line to show these 2 are 2/3. I know how this one messed me up before. This is probably why they used the bracket to go all the way over here, because I had mine pointing and then I split it. So then I couldn't find where I had it to start with. So maybe do use the bracket, or however you do it, just show that whole area. That whole area is 2/3. Okay, now if I'm going to break them into 9s, what do I know about 3 and 9? How many times does 3 go into 9? Or what times 3 is 9? 3. That's what I have to break them up into. So every one of these boxes, don't cut it in half, cut it in 3s. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I was all the way from here to here. If I need to, make it a little longer so you can see. How many 1/9 are in there? Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That equals 6/9. Okay, we're drawing it. Now, add a number sentence. Does it tell me if I have to add or subtract? Or excuse me, add or multiply? Nope, it's just a number sentence. So I can do either. And you really only have to write one on these ones because I just want you to see how to break it up. Okay, so I'm going to use multiplication. 2/3 equals, how many 1/9? 6. 6 times 1/9. Okay, you may have done an addition sentence. 2/3 equals maybe 3/9 plus 3/9 plus 3/9. Anything that shows that it's equivalent, that they equal each other. All right, so on this back side, you're doing D, number 4, and number 6. On the front side, you just have B and D to do. Once you're done with those, or when it's your turn, you're going to do Zurn lesson 4. Finish that up. And then tomorrow we're going to do 5 and 6 together. And that's already topic 1. All right. And you'll have some time to finish those up and to prove that you know how to do this. If you know how to do this, even if you're not done with Zearn, I can help move you up. And if you need some extra practice, then we'll give you extra practice on it. All right. This is not something where it's like, oh, we did 3 lessons and I don't have it. That doesn't mean anything. It just means you need a little more practice. Okay. So we're going to keep practicing with it. And then pretty soon it's all going to click and it'll make it pretty easy as we go into how to make equivalent fractions without any drawings. All right. So go be awesome and do a great job on this and on lesson 4.